everybody, it's Miss A, and I'm back with a video to help with homework. I will post a homework video as well, but I wanted to do a strategy video. And I have the kids in here, and they're going to be helping me today. Hopefully they're not bad. Say hi, everybody. Hi! All right, so First, Miss Angelo is going to do the strategy portion, and then I'm going to have some of the kids come up here and show how they solved for multiplication problems. So we are talking about multiplication strategies. Oh, it helps if I had a pen that actually you could work and see. Multiplication strategies. So we have, there's actually 4 strategies that we learn in 4th grade about multiplication. We have standard multiplication. And standard multiplication is when you multiply numbers and you start working from the right and moving towards the left, multiplying your 1s, and then moving to your 10s and doing any adding and carrying that you need to do. That's standard multiplication, and I'll show you the strategy once I'm done here. We have partial products. And partial products is when you break apart your bigger number into the 10s, 1s, 100s, break it up into place value. So it definitely need to understand place value in order to do this one. You break it up into place value and you do mental math multiplication. So same problem, 27, so it's 20 and 7. Times 6. And I would do mental math multiplication for 6 times 20, and then mental math multiplication for 6 times 7, add those numbers together to get my answer. We also have the distributive property. Distributive property of multiplication works like this. So same, let's do 27. All right, sorry about that. Had to pause for a phone call. So if we have 27 times 6, I could break this up into 25 and 2 because I know my 25s tables are like quarters, and I know my 2s tables. So you break it up into 2 numbers that you likely know. Typically, distributive property is used when you have like doubles. So let's say my number was 24. I would do 12 and 12, so then I'm only really doing multiplication one time. It would be 6 times 12 and 6 times 12. The answer would be the same and add them together. So distributive property is another strategy that we learn in 4th grade. And then we have repeated addition. Repeated addition is when you take and you obviously repeatedly add your multiplier the number of times. So I would do 27 6 times. So 27 plus 27 gives me an answer, add 27 to that. That gives me an answer, add 27 to that. That gives me an answer, add 27 to that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I would add 27 again to get my answer. Now we're going to talk about each one of these strategies, and we're going to go over basically the pluses and minuses to both, because every strategy has some goods and every strategy has some bads, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. All right, so now that I've shown the 4 different strategies that 4th graders learn, I'm going to go ahead and continue showing how they're solved. And then I'm going to have some students go up to the board, and they're actually going to pick a strategy that they want to solve a problem. And then we're going to work on a word problem as well and show how we use that particular information. So standard multiplication. Again, you start in the 1s column. You start with the smallest value. It's just like adding and subtracting. We always start in the 1s place, and we move towards the left. The only one where we don't is division, and I have a division video already up there. So 6 times 7, well, that's 42. So I write my 2, and I regroup my 4 over the 10s. Now I'm going to move towards multiplying times my 10s. 6 times 2 is 12 plus 4, because I have to add the 4 from the 42. So 12 plus 4 is 16. So the answer is 162. That's what the answer is using standard multiplication. And you would do that no matter whether you had 2, 3, 4 numbers. You would continue the pattern starting from the right, working your way towards the left. Partial products. Again, remember this is splitting it up into place value and then doing mental math multiplication. 6 times 2 is 12, and there's 1 0. 6 times 7 is 42. And then I just add these two numbers together. And I like to add vertically, so I line them up. And I start in my ones place. 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. 1 plus 0 is 1. 162. And you see how the answers are the same. The next strategy, distributive property. So I broke it up into 25 and 2. I know 6 times 2 is 12, so I have that there. And then 25 are quarters. So 4 quarters are 100, and 2 more quarters is 50, so this is 150. And that's why I did that, because I know quarters and equals in money, so that's easy enough for me. So now I have 150, and again, I do it vertically, plus 12. That's starting with my ones, 2, 6, 162. So you see the answer is the same using distributive property, but I broke the numbers up into two numbers that I know I can multiply quickly. With partial products, you're breaking it up into tens and ones. Pretty simple. This one takes a little more thought as to you as a learner, what numbers work best for you. 25 may not work best for someone else. It does for me because I think of it like money, and I know 4 quarters are in $1, that's 100. But 25 may not work for some other people. Now I'm going to go to repeated addition. Repeated addition, 7 plus 7 is 14. Regroup my 1. 1 plus 2 is 54. Now the next 27. So that's 1, that's 2. This is my third one. 4 plus 7 is 11. Regroup my 1, 6. 81. This is the fourth one. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. This is the fifth one. 8 plus 7 is 15. Regroup my 1. That's 1 plus 2 is 3 and 5. And this would be the sixth one. That's 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 162. So you see we ended up with the same answer no matter what strategy we chose. Now let's quickly talk about the pros and cons to each strategy. This is standard multiplication. This is the one that pretty much everyone knows how to do. Pros are it's straightforward. The process is the same. You just keep following from the right to the left and keep adding and processing. A con is sometimes we forget to add what we regroup. That sometimes is a con with this particular strategy, and I've noticed that with kids. Again, child can choose any strategy they want to solve this. As a teacher, I'm not saying you need to pick a strategy. I'm providing the strategies, and you pick the one that works for you. The journey to the answer can take 4 different paths, but you will arrive at the same answer as you can see on our paper. This particular strategy, a positive to it is that it's easy to break apart the numbers because you're doing it in tens and ones. A con is if you don't know your 6 tables or your 7 tables, you might not be able to get this one very easily. So that could be a con to this particular strategy. I like the fact that it's mental math multiplication. That's pretty simple. And then it's basic adding. But again, mistakes could be made in adding with regrouping. So that could be a negative to that one. Again, you pick the strategy that works for you. Distributive property, very similar to partial products. Basically, one of the cons is you have to come up with the numbers in which you use. Like I said, I chose 25 and 2 because I know my twos tables and I know my quarters. So that worked out well for me. But if you have the number 27, you might not think, because like 14 and 13, those aren't good numbers. You could do 12, and that's 12 and 15. Those might not be good. So you have to really think about how you would break it apart. I think where it works out really well is when you have doubles. All right, so this one really works well for doubles. So for example, if I had 24 times 6, I could do 12 and 12 times 6, and then I'm only doing multiplication for one number. Well, 12 times 6 is 72. 72, and then I add it together, so I'm only doing multiplication once, and then I'm adding. Yeah, it's 6, yeah, 72, I just want to make sure. And then I'm adding, so that's 144. So, I mean, this could possibly be it's good when you have like doubles. It's really helpful there because it takes down your multiplication to one multiplication problem. Repeated addition, most kids really like addition. Most kids are really good at addition, so that's a positive. The fact, though, is it does take a lot longer to figure out. You are doing addition several times. Okay, so now this part of our video, I'm going to have some students come up to the board and solve some multiplication problems, and they are going to share what strategy they're using to solve. Okay, go.
Hi, my name is Estella, and my strategy is partial products.
Why'd you choose that strategy? So that one's easiest for you? All right, go ahead and go. So what are you doing first, sweetheart? Explain what you're doing.
I'm doing a rectangle.
Why?
Because then you gotta split it in half.
Okay. To do what?
Put the 70 and then the 6 and then the 8. Then I'm going to multiply 8 times 6, which is 48. And then I'm gonna add 560 to 48, which is...
And explain how you're adding. Where do you start?
in the ones place.
Okay.
So 0, if you add 0 and 8, it won't work because you can't add nothing with 0, so it's 8.
Okay.
And then 6 times 4 is...
Just add the numbers, baby. 6 plus 4. You're good.
10, and then I add 1.
So you're regrouping your 1.
And then it's add 1 plus 5 is 6. And my answer is 600.
All right, take a bow. Estella, you did a great job. Give her a round of applause, everybody. Hold on, Steve, you're good. All right, so Miss Angelo is going to do number 3, and I'm going to do distributive property to solve this problem. So we have the number 18, and the reason I chose the distributive property is because 18 is a double, and I could do 9 and 9. So let me go ahead and write that out. As you can see, I did multiplication, and 9 times 5 is 45. So it's the same number in both boxes, and now I'll go to the next step. As you can see, my answer is 90. 45 plus 45 is 90. So I chose the distributive property for this particular problem because it is a double and it was less multiplication. All right, thanks everybody. My students did a really great job helping to show the strategies. The last thing I'm going to show is a word problem. And this is actually the word problem that the kids had today. So the problem states, Daniel works at a car wash. He earns $14 per hour from the company. If he works 4 6-hour shifts a week, how much money does he earn from the company in a month? Now, this is a very relative problem to reality. This is life. We talked with the kids about understanding multiplication and how they need to know it in order to survive, not only to be able to obviously figure out how much money the company should be paying them, but for budgeting, for life. So this is a type of problem, and I'm going to go ahead and work out this problem on my piece of paper just so you have an idea, and then I will do a homework video in a little bit.